Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another RGL cast. My name is Jarrett, and I'm here with Space Ghost to bring you guys a battle of the global clans. This is RGL Invite 6's Season 6, Week 9B, the last casted match of the regular season between the two sister teams, GlobalClan Fire and GlobalClan Ice. How you doing, Space Ghost?
Doing pretty good. Excited to see the quote-unquote Pokemon matchup of Fire versus Ice, or yeah, I guess Pokemon. And
Yeah,
well,
it's quite a rematch, I think. Last time these two teams played in the regular season, it was on Process, and we are back to Process once again. The first time it was GlobalClan Ice's pick, and this time around, GlobalClan Fire are thinking that they can, take it to them and bring a win back into their book. And they've been collecting some wins recently. It's been quite the story in the later half of the season, but we'll get to that in a little bit. The last time these two teams faced, I think it was a 5-2 in favor of GlobalClan Ice, so I'm really hyped to see what's going to happen this time around. But before we get too deep into it, it's probably important to go over the rosters, because it's going to be difficult with so many GlobalClan players in the server. You got to make sure you got your roster straight. So I'll go ahead and start with the GlobalClan Ice roster. It is Catface and Caps on Scout, Sin and Rakuso on Soldier, Sin Karma on Demo, and May on Medic.
and for GlobalClan Fire, we have Animus and Whelp on Scout, Skelly and Ali on Soldier, Nomi on Demo, and Platinum or Platinum on Medic.
Pretty familiar with both these rosters, probably much more so with GlobalClan Ice if you've been watching casts recently, especially considering that this is the third day in a row that we've been casting their games, watching their journey into playoffs, which is pretty much locked down. GlobalClan Fire is a little bit of a different story. They've had a really interesting journey. They start off coming into the season, previously being a mid-invite team, a new blood coming in high and doing really well. But this season, it was really confusing. It's okay to start out as sort of the last place team, but to have it be GlobalClan Fire be that team, I don't think a whole lot of people would have expected that coming out to the season. They started their season 0-10 after a solid mid-invite performance the previous season, but recently they've actually, turned things up a little bit and collected some wins on the board. Entering, I think, week 6 or 7, they got 2 games in a row versus Platypug Esports, won those. They eventually played the Portman Yauman. We got an upset win there. I don't remember what their 4th match win was, but I think they also played Ford Gaming when Ford already solidified their roster spot or their playoff spot and had some rigors and stuff. So just got the match over with and definitely took advantage of the little bit weakened Ford Gaming roster and was able to collect a win there too. So regardless of why they got the wins that they did or why they started off rocky, the point is they've launched themselves all the way from 10th to 7th, which is really important. Despite these teams near the end of the list that are nowhere near getting a chance to have a playoffs run or anything like that, you want to make sure you're as far away from the bottom as possible if you want to continue to be an invite. If everyone stays alive and wants to continue playing, well, someone's got to make room for the advanced move-ups. It's going to happen. So you definitely don't want to be seed number 10. You definitely want to shy away from being seed number 9 or maybe even 8 in case you're asked to play some sort of qualifier. You just want to be as high as possible to make sure you don't have to deal with any off-season shenanigans and keep your team solidified early on, especially really important for tryouts and stuff like that. So it's definitely important for them to try to, they put themselves in 7th now. They want to get as many wins as possible to keep themselves there. And getting the win versus GlobalClan Ice would be pretty important for them, especially because it's a little bit of revenge. Like we said before, process before, now it's process again. So they're hungry for a win here tonight.
Yeah, I think it's not ironic's not the correct word, but I think it's kind of funny that the team named GlobalClan Fire is on a little bit of a hot streak, one would say. But
True.
regardless, how do you think this match is going to turn out? It's kind of interesting how GlobalClan originally GlobalClan Ice picked this map, their first match, and now it's very unusual to see the team that previously lost on this map to pick it again in the rematch. So, GlobalClan Fire must have something up their sleeve. I don't know what exactly they're planning, but they must know something that we don't.
All I know for sure is I think we're gonna run out of breath this match, because these are probably the two most aggressive. I think they're 2 out of the 3 most aggressive teams in the division, and by aggressive, I mean willing to push even though the advantage given to them is very small, where a lot of teams would be willing to just play it safe or whatever. There's plenty of dry fighting that we've seen in casted matches where these two teams are playing. And I would not really expect this to be any different unless they're trying to like hard counter, like counter initiate, an expectation of their opponents or anything like that. So there's probably going to be nonstop fighting, or at least that's my first take on how I think the match is going to go. But in terms of victory, I mean, GlobalClan Ice is definitely the favorites. They're pretty much solidified as the fourth seed. I guess there's technically a small chance that because GlobalClan Fire got that forward win, there's like a small chance that GlobalClan Ice could get third, depending on what happens in like the Ford Sojourner match. There's also a small chance that GlobalClan Fire could lose their 7th seed slot and go back down to 8th if Sojourner wins that as well. But I'm kind of leaning towards Ice just a little bit, even though Fire picked this map and they're confident on it. We've definitely seen a whole lot of adaptation coming from GlobalClan Ice. They've been running the gauntlet, especially on this map. The past couple days that we've seen them being casted, they've shown that even though they lose some rounds, they're able to recognize issues and bounce back from them, and fix things mid-game as well as the half. So I kind of have some trust in them to, even if GlobalClan Fire come out with a really nice plan to start out really strong in the match, they're going to have the work cut out for them at least a little bit, because I would be surprised if GlobalClan Ice just rolled over and was unable to find a solution to their problems as the match went on.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think something else that's of note is the class matchup in this map could be pretty interesting, because I'd consider I think we saw yesterday on the same map Rakusa having a lot of standout plays. We saw Sin Karma do some nice stuff. May did a lot of stuff. I think
He got a lot of kills on Medic.
yeah, May got a lot of kills on Medic and also preserved his life a lot. But I think, like you said, these two teams are both so aggressive that it might come down to whose medic can just live out of a handful of more fights. And if that is the case, I think May should come on top. Or May's the favorite to come on top, I would say. I'd say May's pretty known for kind of sneaking his way out of situations you would not expect him to live through.
It's very true. Plaid will have his work cut out for him in the medic comparison department, but there's definitely some room for him to put in some work for his team. Speaking of the classes, I think it's a really interesting dynamic when you have maps that are... I mean, this isn't something that's necessarily new, but when you talk about what classes are stronger on certain maps, and you also talk about which teams have different classes as their MVPs, I would kind of put Rakuso as maybe the MVP of GlobalClan Ice recently, putting out a lot of plays and being a pretty good contributor to his team's victories. And for the side of GlobalClan Fire, I'd maybe put Animus as maybe like the MVP for his team. So it's really interesting if you have the comparison between, well, this is a scout map and you have a MVP player as your scout, so that should do pretty well. But then you also have the fact that because it's a scout map, you want your soldiers to do as well as they possibly can. If you got one of your better players being on soldier, you don't have to worry about him accidentally making a mistake or being put under a little bit too much stress because of the map geometry. So it's a really interesting dynamic when you compare the two teams and what strengths they might rely on when it comes to the effectiveness of their team.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think for Kuso, he showed that even on a scout dominant map like Process, he's still able to go in there and make salvage plays and able to put out a really good performance, so we hope we can see that again. On that note, we are arriving at our first mid here on GlobalClan Fire versus GlobalClan Ice. Take it away, Jared.
Yep, sister teams battling enough to see who is able to put themselves high up on the totem pole. This is the last cast of regular season match before we get into the playoffs. Both teams rolling out to mid. Be able to take the pack on the side of Novi. Sin Karma probably going to wait for an arrow before he's able to do anything too much. It seems like he's being blocked a little bit by Sin on accident, but will be healthy at the end of the day. His teammates cannot say the same. There are a lot of weak players on the side of the right team. May immediately going down. He can't even surf the rocket because he's just half health from the entirety of the spam coming in from the blue team, expending both their soldiers, but now caught a caught in no man's land on their own tap. Packed Plaid getting shot and surfed into an enemy team will eventually die. 2v3 scenario. Well, full health though, as well as Nomi. Will Sin Karma and Sin have to pretty much rely on Catface to elongate this fight while they go and collect packs. This will be a 1v1 taking a bit. Catface coming up on top though, so it's just Nomi left alive. Nice air shot, able to make sure that Sin accidentally kills himself trying to rocket jump away. So a little bit scrappy, but at the end of the day, GlobalClan Ice coming out on top. However, I would be kind of surprised on, actually no, I think like they're slowing down. They're going to play it safe early on. They don't want to force anything too early, so GlobalClan Ice taking the first mid.
Yeah, we had two really good air shots at that. First, the air shot to kill their Platinum midair, and then the second air shot onto, I think that was Sin at the very end, making sure he killed. So, two big air shots there, but in the end, Fire are going to end up pretty happy holding second,
Dry fight?
They had their mid. Oh, yep. Wait, remember I said they were going to be aggressive? This is the aggressiveness we're talking about. Ubers are dead even, but they just want to push. May going to drop down though, Rakuso going to go. I think they're just making space for their sack, yeah. They were making space for Rakuso, and they just backed up off of that. Looked like actually a scout getting very aggressive and choking, able to surf away, but a little bit risky. We also have a soldier peeking through IT. Not gonna be able to get much just backing up. There's actually a lot of spam in these chokes. They're very aggressive here. They know they had that pick to work with, but looks like it's gonna be equalizing end. Rakusa's back up on soldier, ready to go sacrifice his stats again for the greater good.
I think GlobalClan Fire tried to find an opening through both choke and IT, but both doors covered pretty well by the side of GlobalClan Ice despite being down the soldier. So once again, Rakuso up. Their team is in sewer, getting ready to make a move. Probably going to work through Al-Qaeda once again to maybe get some sort of room for their team to go in. Have soldiers jumping in. Oh, well, that's going to kind of spell the end, at least for the initiation. They're going to go ahead and back up and re-heal in sewer to make sure your entry is clean. The side of GlobalClan Fire, they're just going to chill, wait for the initiation from the side of GlobalClan Ice. Not too much to do. I mean, there's a lot of aggression, though, yeah. Not really stopping them, but here comes Rakuso bombing and taking a little bit of an awkward angle, but immediately W9B Skelly jumping in right off the bat of that sack, but will only find damage and no kills to the side of the GlobalClan Ice combo. So, 1-for-1 trade, not really finding too much. Both teams still kind of spamming. Animus actually poking around some doors and sewer, and Sin hot on his tail, but will not find him as he exits back to his team. So it seems like a little bit of a scuffle after the trade, but will not find anything for either team to write home about. So once again, back to Stomate, Rakusa rolling out. It seems like IT is the play this time, potentially, for GlobalClan Ice. Never mind, they are already out of IT.
Yeah, they thought about it, then pumped the brakes and backed up. It looks like we have no off classes yet, which is kind of interesting. I think if they sack again and nothing happens, and expect to see an off class, I don't think we've even really seen a double sack yet. It's just been soldiers dying for the cause. So I'm curious to see when they actually both teams stop deciding to kind of play it safe and go for something a little more aggressive. But both teams seem to be surprisingly happy sitting and stalemating, considering they are two, quote-unquote aggressive teams. And they're, like, their sacks, they've been taking aggressive positioning, but the only people who have died have just been soldiers. Sin gonna go in, kind of make a little space. We actually have an IT play happening. Rakuso's gonna try to get him, actually get stuffed, can't get through the tiny little doorway there. And,
oh, the traps! There's traps on the ramp from Sin. They barely dodged it, almost died to it.
Yeah, but it looks like it's gonna be so Ali's the one for the sack this time. Gonna land on Sin, do a lot of damage to Sin. Sin gonna drop very low, but in the end, that's all that's gonna happen. And GlobalClan Fire gonna back up. The other Sin is in also, but also unable to do anything. May dropped kind of low there. I think he got a pack, but in the end, it's just another round of single sacks.
Is this a pause? Are they stopped?
I think it is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was interesting. May surfed the one rocket and landed in front of Skelly, but on the pack. So when Skelly did damage, he just insta-yoinked the pack, I'm pretty sure. So it was kind of funny. And then Sin jumped in to try to mark a garden and was immediately stalled, was not able to hit that. So yeah, we've had a pause. Not really sure why. Have to wait and see.
I might jinx us here. I probably am. But we'll see. We haven't had a really exorbitantly long, painful pause yet. And I know I'm jinxing us by saying that. But I just wanted to comment how this season we haven't had any really bad pauses. At least not that I've casted.
Oh no, why'd you have to say that?
Yeah, I know. Well,
someone did time out. Well, not really sure who.
It's better to get, if we're gonna have one, it's better to get it out of the way in the last regular season match than the playoff match where you have multiple maps, and then we'll be up to like 5 in the morning. So might as well get it out of the way now if we can. I don't know exactly who. We heard that somebody lagged out. Oh, and we unpaused. It looks like they came back.
Oh, apparently it might have been Rakusa that was lagging out, which is perfect because that's a person that usually is going to dying for their team anyway because he's roaming. But room made by Skelly, but will immediately die, not able to find his exit. So it's a one-man sack and a player advantage for the side of GCI. But curious to see when this Rakuso lag out is going to happen, if it's going to be middle of the push or if he's going to be dead or what.
May is really far in.
Yeah, they want to Uber exchange off the one player, immediately running into Nobi, putting a lot of damage on him. We'll get popped on and saved by Plaid, but we'll be unable to save Animus. They're on the chase towards IT, but will eventually work their way over the grass.
Yeah, big bomb for Rakuso.
Actually, one player.
He got air shot or something happened. He just went backwards, and it looks like numbers are even right now. But well, team's kind of down a scout. Sin Karma gonna drop low on the exit, gonna get cut off. Sin gonna end up trading him out, but a demo might be more a worthwhile pick. And Sin still kind of caught in, just shooting a medic.
Yeah, people came up bluff though. Inside still trying to cut us in. Oh, Skelly behind! Oh, only damage, no kills. Pretty good play though, or a good attempt at least.
Yeah, it's my HUD's a little broken, so I think Ubers are basically just even, but GCI, they do have the numbers, and GCF wisely decides to back up, you know, didn't really feel comfortable like the 3v5 or 3v4 that was going to happen, so yeah, ended up backing last, so victory in the end for GCI, a little scuffed, but worked out in the end.
Yeah, they got extremely deep with that Uber exchange. They walked all the way up to the enemy team spire before they had to pop, and the GCF spam was not quite what it needed to prevent that Uber from getting so much damage and kills as well. It seems like this is where the lag out happened right here. Rakuso is dead, so I guess you can call it the quote-unquote sack into last, and Rakuso's up and respawning at his forward. So GCF a little bit on the move, just a small amount, trying to figure out what's up, but I think they've realized that the Rakuso already being up at last means they don't really have a big window to counter sack at all, like quote-unquote counter sack. So choosing not to do anything, just set up their level 3 gun up on the point's a pretty strong spot. Actually, both demos are getting very low right now.
I think they both just ate each other's damage and ran away, so they had a good old demo damage trade. You gotta look good for the stats, especially in a stalemate like this, you know. Kind of cruise that TPM, and GCI is gonna try to take some lobby pressure here. There's no, they do have the gun on the point. It's not exactly in like the optimal position, but it is on the point, and so it's gonna be very annoying to deal with. You know, we saw it yesterday that actually it might be in a better position because they might not have the angle on it this time.
Yeah, the barrels are in the way, and Rakusa's gonna fall trying to get into the window spot to be able to spam it down, not be able to find it, and they're on the move and able to get caps as well as they poke in the lobby. So 2-player ad, just a normal sack position though. Ali bombing through. Actually, Plaid really aggressive as well. Gonna eat a little bit of damage, but Ali not quite committing yet. But it seems like Animus just running forward. He's found May, got the fourth, and they killed Catface as well. Uber exchange coming out from both sides over on the red team spire. No scouts though, so no scout speed. Have to immediately back up. And my game's lagging. Take a space.
Yep, they get it. They do manage to get Sin. GC actually wants to refight this, even with the number disad. They do manage to get Ali, but that might be all they get. They still want to keep going here. GCF is going to manage to get second here. They get the second point, but GCI do not want to leave. Recruso's going to drop low. They're just kind of sitting around spamming. There's no exact like kill trades happening. It's amazing GCI's fighting this with the low ground, and there Skelly saw it. He goes in for the bomb, does massive damage, gonna end up dying for it, but he might have done enough damage that GCI kind of had to back off the damage.
Rakuso getting chased down, but Animus unable to find that kill. He really wanted Rakuso,
that was maybe a little too greedy.
Yeah,
but
he
GCI,
really wanted that.
Where are they going? They're going IT, it looks like. Have they spotted this yet? I don't think they spotted this yet, and they're just in. Sin is in the skybox. They use Uber. Platinum manages to pop just in time, and Ali's getting chased down in the lobby. And again, end up getting cleaned up by Catface. Oh, man.
The skelly damage, though,
yeah,
once again, bombing into choke. Catface caused a little bit of distraction. Will die in upper IT. So 1-for-1 trade right now, but they're still fighting. Nomi popped up into the air. The scout is rolled down. Now Skelly going all the way a long way behind, so missing a player, but he will arrive right now. Bombing onto the medic. The damage is on May, getting him very low, but it's not quite enough. Oh, and he will eventually die. Well, running forward and making sure that medic does fall. So 3 players left alive for the side of GCI. Sin caught in the corner. The scout is going to pepper him down, trying to jump away, but will not be successful in that endeavor. So 2 players left alive for the side of GCI. And I think they've recognized it's a little bit too tough for them to deal with. The entirety of GCF is here, spare 1. And Nomi bombing forward to lock down those chokes, prevent anyone from poking through and getting to any part of his team. So overall, pretty good fight from the side of GCF to make sure that this mid is secured. And can I say, it's really confusing how ice is on red and fire is on blue.
Yeah, I saw the same thing and I didn't realize it, and now that I see it, it's bothering me. And it looks
really
like
bothering me too.
Ali's gonna bomb in, make space. Actually, they're not gonna really clean up Ali, so GCI's gonna just back up. They know they had pretty sizable Uber disad. They're just gonna hold, play it safe, have 6 people to last.
There's no gun yet either.
There's no gun yet, and here comes the bomb. They're bombing into Sin Karma and Spawn. He's just gonna banny bind away. They're not really getting that many kills here. Nobody's gonna try to bomb in and Recruso. They're only gonna hit like a pipe or 2. Animus is caught up in the air. They are collecting kills. I don't know where just a collapse.
Yep, and that's what happens when your defense is unable to be set up. They definitely chased that really fast, straight from 2 to last before GCI could set up anything at all, so the bomb went straight towards the players, able to clean up enough to have a good post-fight and take the first round. So GCF leading 1-0 as we go into the second mid.
Yeah, that fight, it looked like it's going well for GCI at first, and then they just managed at the very tail end of the Uber to get a bunch of kills, and that kind of, secured that last push for them. Nobody gonna drop a little low early on. Sin Karma, I must say, blue team is a kind of much more aggressive positioning here. Although Animus is going to get punished and kind of die instantly, but blue team does have the high ground. Sin Karma going to die, but they're going to clean up the soldiers here. They're kind of trading. They're on the May dodging and juking all these air shots, but Catface is caught out without heals. May can't heal anyone. He's stuck in his IT.
Yep. only Nomi left alive though, so it
On
seems
the
like
wrong
the
side of
surf
the map.
yeah, worked out, and he's not gonna be able to find too much. A little bit of damage onto Caps with that pipe, but not quite enough to get any kills. So good job from GCI. They made sure that the important classes stayed alive. Rakusa already chasing all the way to the next point. What the heck are you doing? He's playing with danger, but will be able to get out. And as they take this mid, and this is probably going to be a free 2 as well. Nomi and Plaid, late deaths, unable to do anything. There's already gun built up at last. Yeah, this is free 2, so using this Uberad to eventually take last, just got to pick a door after the second cap.
Oh, they're choosing a new position from the gun. First, it was in the... I was actually... I said I kind of VM'd the gun, and then I realized I was actually in a really good position. And now they've moved into a different spot on the ramp, so definitely some experimentation with the gun placement here.
It's a little bit harder to spam out, but it's really easy to Uber on a kill. In fact, it melts immediately, so Sin immediately bombing into the enemy team, putting some damage on the Plaid. Drop low and will immediately die.
Both
Heavy
gonna get a
but will
5
resub.
kill.
Yep, 2 dead for the side of G, 3 dead for the side of GCF, but the Heavy and Stickies
Yeah,
are
the
still
heavy,
on the
but
point.
Recrusa's on the high
Well,
ground shooting down. It's the worst thing that can happen to the heavy if you just have the soldier above you shooting down, and it looks like it's all over. Although nobody's going to try to make a miracle, unable to accomplish it, so scores very quickly tie up. So it's a 1-1 fire versus ice.
Yeah, that Plaid kill was very, very big, making sure that there was no elongated heals, especially for that Heavy. I thought Heavy got arrowed up in any way. That would have been pretty rough for them to try to get the round that way, but I think the gun melting and Plaid immediately falling right after kind of spelled disaster. So tying up the game is GCI as we go into this third mid 1-1.
Yeah, Rakusa had a big play there, kind of shooting that heavy from the high ground. It's the only real counter to it, and he was in the prime position for it. Blue team gonna take kind of a left side mid here. Actually, never mind. As I say that, they rotate around the other way, but big bomb in from Rakusa, kind of doing loop-de-loops in the skybox, and he's actually gonna be able to live. They get 2 kills here, and I think GCF, yeah, they decide, okay, we lost both our soldiers, they didn't get anything, just back up and hold second. Well, it's going to be tough if you only have 1 spam class to do so. Process choke can be kind of tough to lock in. Yep, Sid Karma's just going to bomb in straight away, actually going to get punished by Animus, and Animus is going to live, so quickly turning around to a bit of a disaster for GCI, because now GlobalClan Fire's just going to push back into him, and they're a little caught out. Both going to drop very low off of the direct, but in the end, yeah, I think GCF is going to continue pushing this. The 2 pick advantage is still there.
Yeah, it took the advantage a little bit too much for granted, but GCI are still trying to fight into the choke. The Uber will come up for the side of the blue team. Not quite yet for May. He is dropped very low. Will eventually pop to save himself, as well as Catface to try to chase down Bob, who is unubered now, able to kill him. So 1v1 in terms of the player deaths, at least for now. GCF still trying to poke around at choke, but don't really have any positioning to continue fighting this. There are all the spamming classes here at the choke from the side of GCI to combat the push, so it doesn't seem like there's going to be any more pushing from GCF, and GCI do not want to use a solo scout pick to go ahead and dry this out. Boop will respawn and get back to his team. So Uber exchange not leading to a whole lot more than a couple kills and some scrappy post-Uber fights, but at the end of the day, seems like an IT play is going to be drying is going to be the play for GCI, but I think a messed up jump and also not finding any aggressive soldier target will spell the end of that as you rotate to find other doors and other endeavors to try to pursue.
The classic mid to second process stalemate. Truly a timeless classic as we get to witness it yet again here. Probably gonna watch Rakuso end up dying for the rest of his team sins, trying to get a pick, but they're just kind of content to sit around right now. Not really. Yeah, true. Oh, I didn't even. Wow, I'm unintentionally pun master. Sins. Yeah, I didn't. Actually, Animus almost ran into a trap there and almost died, but. I think here comes the aggression. They're actually going to send Catface into mixed space, and then Rakusa is going to bomb, and he actually got a pretty good bomb. And, he's going to get it. No. They lost track of Catface in the midst. Rakusa had a really good bomb there, got the 112 damage rocket off, and then Catface was able to clean it up. They just didn't spot him. But it's 4v4 right now. Animus going to go for a little bit of a hero play. He did hit the nice beat shot onto May. May gonna run around collecting packs. He has a lot of time to work with this Uber, so there's no real, no sense of urgency here. They just gotta get into second and be on their merry way. Because they have, Platinum just spawned. This is massive Uber.
Yeah, pretty much free, but GCF, they gotta set up some sort of defense here. This gun spot, they gotta make sure that even if it melts immediately, they're able to keep themselves alive. Wow, Skelly going for a really early play on the May, able to get that force on early Uber coming out and living for at least a little bit longer so they can't enter immediately. Sen able to clean up that kill. Yep, they're trying to get this gun. Level 1, yeah. It'll die really early on, but the Uber is already over, trying to work away on Nomi. Drop very low.
From Rakuso and
no sticks on the point. He does death, but so many people have dropped from the side of GCF. So point will be converted to the side of GCI, and they're able to salvage that pretty well off the fact that there was a really early force onto them. They're able to take as much space as they possibly could, get that gun down, and make sure that they're able to cap that off to lead us into a 2-1 game.
Yeah, that was initially a pretty good play from Skelly. Yeah, you could argue about the merits of trading one player to get a force of Mobby since it's going to be popping there anyway. But I think, he got a pretty good force and they flashed a bunch. So it looked like initially a good play, but they only had a level 1 gun. They didn't really have anyone to stop the players from walking in anyway, even if they were Uberus was fading. So in the end, GCI gonna take that last heavy. Nomi gonna die pretty much instantly. A lot of damage going in, but I don't think they're gonna get any of these kills here. They get Caps and Rakusa, but they're actually a lot of kills going everywhere, and it's a scout and medic versus a demo and a scout. I think it's up to Sin here to really lock them out, or I guess they're gonna. Oh, yeah, they do want to fight this.
Yeah, Bob's gonna spam it. I mean, he knows that Sin can't get healed, and eventually he already has to leave. Yeah, he already has to leave, pretty much. Sin is not able to hold this door anymore, but I think Bob also realizes that it's going to be a little bit rough to just barrel through. Catface is still healthy.
Yeah.
The stickies has to be cleared, so going to take a bit, but that's already enough time for his team to get there, so no longer has to be a solo person Endeavor. You got your team ready to, get your Uber situated, get your team all buffed up, and try to run through one of these doors, see if you can take mid for free. You're going to have to use an Uber for it.
Yeah, it looks like, all that damage on Sin kind of actually did matter, because Sin wasn't able to really lock out the juke super well, so they're just in. Catface is hiding in a corner.
Oh, so Rakuso launched in, and Vlad just has to pop because he's already so weak upon entering. Can't even let Rakuso manage to get a rocket off. Nobody launching for it, and took so much damage, but he's just dead! None of his team was with him!
Sin should have died, but an air shot bow just saved him at the very end. Actually, both Sins are getting saved by bows right now, so we have the Sin combination. Cap's gonna drop really low, and they do it. GlobalClan do have soldiers. Okay, GlobalClan Fire do have soldiers in the high ground to spam, but they kind of get bullied out here. They're just gonna have to back up. Their Uber head is pretty. The Uber distance very small, but Bombin actually Ali's in. He's in. He does a lot of damage to May, but then he does a lot of damage to everyone, but no kills. So.
I might slow him a little bit, but yeah. They're still on the roll through IT. They still have this Uber at intact, 50% plus. Gonna go through upper. Yep, upper IT, pretty free, running into Skelly.
Almost dies instantly.
Yep, we'll use the Uber. Skelly, actually, he's gonna barely. No, he's not gonna. Surely he doesn't. He gets out at 11 HP and gets arrowed, so he gets that force without having to give up his life. That's huge.
Yeah,
now they got all their players.
And here comes the stressful part, because you do have to push out of last with Uber ad, which is a lot tougher than you think, because not only do you have to actually do something with your Uber, but there's a good chance you just get back half, then you lose, and it's very sad. And here it comes. Novi's in, so he hits May. I think he hit a pipe on May. Animus is basically in mid. There's no real back at the. Actually, Rakusa bombs behind. He's actually going to drop out very low, but not going to end up collecting the kill, and they get 3 kills for that Uber. That's worth it at the end, I'd say, because they're going to be able to probably roll this into mid, just leave one to cap. They actually might.
No scouts either.
They know the spawns. They're gonna spawn camp. Does someone die to these stickies?
Oh yeah, maybe.
Oh, they didn't even get it.
Oh wow, they didn't. Okay, yeah. So free mid at the end of the day, though, at the very least. So do have to worry about this incoming Uber, despite losing so many people on the side of GCI. May did live through it, so it's not too much longer till he has the Uber of his own. Just building up the rest of it with their team. Gonna get buffed up and try to pick the door of their choice to barrel through and try to take back. Maybe Skelly's in a really
position.
Yeah, it's long con.
They might not see him. Like no one's looking for it. I don't think.
He's in.
Yeah, that was an easy force. They didn't even know he was there. So heads up play from Skelly. Gonna get that force pretty for free. They're gonna only lose him here. It looks like they immediately have the Uber just to repush this, so they're just barreling through. And GCI's a little close. May, is he gonna get out here? They try to bomb for him, but May Slippery just escapes at the very last second.
Two behind though, Rakuso and Catface.
Oh, are they behind? I didn't know this.
It's gonna let the team get a little bit of room, but they're not ready though. Sin and May are not quite actually able to get through the choke at the same time. Yeah, they're still trying. I mean, the opportunity is kind of there somewhat because Catface is behind, but now they have 2 player disad, so there was a good opportunity, but I don't think
Catface can get this back cap if they push out if they push the second. The Catface is trying to fight someone right now. He knows that like this is gonna be a little rough if he just delays, so he might have to die here. He tries to get something, unable to get anything done. So GCF might want to push with their 1 scout pick. Catface does have the worst respawn of the universe, but they don't know that.
Honestly, him going in there kind of saved their team from a dry fight. Because normally, if he would have like gone off and not done anything and tried to live, or go to try to fight respawners, GCF probably could have dry fought before May got his Uber to try to like kill him or take 2 or something like that. But even Ubers, pretty much May and friends are gonna recognize that the advantage is probably a little bit too small to go off of unless you want to just immediately bomb in. That could be kind of rough. It's a little bit risky, so just gonna go with the thing they're more comfortable with. Catface spawning on Spy. It's a favorite from him. Definitely likes it. So you can probably, if you're GCF, expect Catface to go Spy at some point. But the question is, do you expect him to go Spy now?
Yeah, because it's defensive Spy. It's on them to sack, and they haven't even done anything yet. I think Catface did it early enough that they really might not expect this, because they can't, okay, they lose
Well, this
two,
timing's
Catface is gonna
perfect.
go in, but they turned around and they see him, so
Oh.
unfortunate timing that GCF's sack was so disastrous that they actually ended up getting Catface killed because everyone just turned around and left immediately.
Rakusa's just in. He walks in and Yo makes the pack, but it's not quite enough to let him live. So 4v3 scenario. GCF, they have an opportunity to maybe like run a scout in or something. You don't have any soldiers.
They're
And
just
it might
gonna,
be-
yeah, they're just gonna walk in. They do. This Uber exchange is very important because it has to buy enough time for the soldiers to get back in here with their spawns, and GCS gonna pop early. Platinum's gonna actually milk that very, very long period of time, and they're just gonna barrel forward with this invincibility. Caps is a little caught out. Oh, this might be a disaster for GCI.
immediately collapsing on the side of GCI. That
Catface is
Uber
caught
was
in
really
too.
early. Really early from GCI. GCF able to milk that for a decent amount of time, make sure their players are all healthy, and they got a pretty decent player ad to immediately work their way into lobby. GCI are trying to hold this as long as possible.
Too.
Yeah, Rakusa will fall. May on the point trying to melee a scout, but it's probably not going to be enough. GCF rolling that all the way from mid to last in a pretty swift action to tie up the game 2-2.
Yeah, the real like momentum shift there was when GCI's Uber got, I don't know if it got forced or they just popped earlier, and Platinum had a very, very hard milk that he just, you know, him and his demo were both low, and he just kept milking, and then he got the Uber, and that really just saved them, was that really, really late pop. So big play from Platinum there to, you know, have the wherewithal to milk that Uber.
Yep, spam going across both sides of the point. Sin not going to eat an arrow, going to get healed up. Might screw up the heals on the red team scouts a little bit, as blue team definitely makes sense. They're taking early position advantage on the high ground. Sin left out to dry, able to fall, so trading both Sins for Nomi. Good play from the side of GCF as sides are somewhat traded.
Plaid is behind now.
What is happening? Plaid's getting chased by Catface all the way. He's alone. He's going to get the kill. Ali's trying to chase him, but he's able to get him with just a little bit health left on the side of mid, though. Scrappy fight. May will fall. Both medics actually dying to scouts chasing in, except pretty sure Animus just went straight in, like, and weaved through and able to get May through all the teammates. Or Catfaces was just you know, chasing a lone medic, so both medics falling. It felt like it was the same time, but I guess there was just enough of a difference for May to spawn a little bit later. But I don't think the ad is going to be anything that's going to be really easy. It's not really usable. It's
unless
like
it was crits, or unless it is GC GlobalClan Fire. Global Fire do like to take some really aggressive fights, so we might see it. We have Rakusa on Spy. That's, you know, I don't.
This is the Spy timing.
Yeah,
there's not a reason for anyone to be sacking right now because they're just building. So this gives Rakusa time to actually walk. It sucks if you go Spy when they already have Uber, because then it's like, why aren't they sacking? They need to go. They have Uber.
Yeah,
but
this is a good opportunity.
This is perfect.
It's also, again, they're on second, so it's not going to be easy for them to check that there is a Spy. So we'll have to see whether this works. The Catface Spy did work earlier, but he got, you know, he went for the play and just got kind of RNG'd because people turn around. Rakusa's actually infiltrated all the way to last, so he's going for the real long con. He opens the shutter, they might realize this, but he's just chilling on last.
The thing that sucks is there's like not really a good decloak spot. Like you can decloak right here, but it's a long walk. I mean, granted, there's no reason for anyone to turn around per se, so it's totally possible he makes this walk. He's on the move. He's going. No one's turning. There's not a reason for them to. There's so many people on the play. He's able to get the demo. That's a pretty decent pick. I trade a soldier for a demo any day. So room for the side of GCI to work their way forward and immediately trying to do some fake bombs. That their health isn't too good. Catface and IT getting shoved out a little bit, so unable to go behind.
May's gonna drop low to spam anyway. Even though there's no demo, the soldier spam is enough that May's gonna drop low, and they're kind of just sitting here trying to milk. Ali actually gonna just die to the kind of the scouts. Oh, they get the force, but that might have been coming anyway. I don't know if trading the soldier there is going to be worth it in the end. Whelp behind gonna get Sin actually. It's a big case from Whelp, and the Uber's chasing Whelp. But there's no, the demo's just arriving to lock it out, and Sin smells blood. He's bombing. Oh, he's gonna get, he almost got punished for it. Oh, GCF, they're only 2 up, and they just have to back up here. That was such a scrappy fight. The
timing of that GCF flank was a little bit mismatched. They went in able to get the force in, but lost too many people for it. So now player ad for the side of GCI rolling into last. There's no classes up to be able to have a defense against them, rolling over the entire enemy team. Blow up on Ali falling, May gonna fall, but that is gonna be all she wrote for the end of this half. Too many players on the point, and GCI will take it 3-2 for the end of this first half as we go into the halftime.
Yeah, that was a, you know, the flank from Scaly there. If he had gotten the drop, it would have worked. It was kind of a calculated risk, you know. Knowing, oh, do I get this drop or do I get the force? Because the force was coming anyway, so he's hoping that no one spotted him and May just, you know, was a little too heads up here. So I must say, over this match, I haven't looked at the stats yet, but I'd say there's some big plays from the medics that won't show up on the scoreboard, but from all the medics, they've had very, very good impactful plays.
Yep, I think I think the story of this match, my browser's still loading before I can actually like look at the logs. I think the story of this match is there's some stalemate, sure, but when we see aggression, I think it comes down to the timing of everything, and I think that's kind of the difference here. Like the little, it's hard to really compare the two teams because it's so even, but it comes down to the really small things. I think a big comparison is the way that both teams are operating their flanks and the timing of them. We just saw literally back to back flanks of GCF going in and like doing behind plays, but all it really led to, or maybe forces that were going to happen anyway, and deaths in the middle of Uber compared to the timing that of Catface's flank plays so far, for example, where his timings are making sure that he goes in right when his teammates either have an opportunity to go off of his distraction, or if he is going to just die, at least he's delaying the other team for long enough that it buys respawners or his teammates healing or getting in a better position or anything like that. So I think the little things like that are definitely going to pay off in the long run as you go into the second half. But a lot of room and time for both teams to kind of talk about what they want to change. So looking at the logs, I still for some reason can't load them. I'm gonna yell at my browser real quick. Well, what do you think, Space Ghost, when you see what's happened this half?
Well, first, I feel like contractually obligated to point it out that Skelly does have the funny KD of 4 and 20. We have both roamers kind of. Everyone else, no one else is really dying that much, but the roamers are out here just not having a grand old time in the KD department. You know, getting a lot of deaths because in the end they're just being asked to kind of sack, and a lot of them are kind of solo sacks too, just over and over again, from mid into second or second into mid, which are kind of hard to do. So I can't blame them for having poor KDs, and it's older. KD doesn't matter anyway. Actually, a surprisingly big game from Nomi here, topping the damage charts, and also only 5 deaths. Less than his medic, actually, so doing a good job staying alive there. Sin Karma also low in the death count, so both demos are doing a good job staying alive, kind of preserving their life, making sure there's always the threat of like a trap or just, some sort of demo man shenanigans happening.
It's always important to have a really impactful Delman that lives and locks down doors. I think that was an issue that GlobalClan Fire had previous in the season on this map, their ability to make sure that uh, doors and stuff are locked down, and having a Delman able to stay alive is a pretty important aspect to that. But I think overall for the match, I feel like reflecting on this match, it feels like did every single round come off of a team like losing to like in a way that mean they couldn't really have like a decent last hold. Maybe not every round, but
Uh,
it felt like
a lot of
many
them were. A
many
lot of
of
them
the
were just kind of
rounds.
rolls into last, then not necessarily last pushes themselves.
Yeah, and I think that goes for both teams really. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how both teams are gonna kind of change their defensive too. Whether it's just, like making sure the stalemate doesn't end terribly in their favor, or if you are on Dissat on your own too, at least like make sure you don't lose too many people, or like maybe at least get the force for your hold or things like that. Because I think I want to say out of the 5 rounds, like at least 3 of them, if not 4, were from just like split second, like, oh, you've lost way too much and you're ought to last and the team's rolling through.
I looked at the logs and I didn't feel like this, but apparently GCI has won all the mids. At least they capped the mids first, all 5 times, because the mid fight just shows up red, 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 red. So apparently the mids are coming up all GCI. I feel like GCF haven't gotten rolled on mids. Hasn't felt like abysmal, but maybe if they can turn around some of these mids, get that first cap in before anything else happens, it could end up working out better for them.
Yeah, I don't really remember any team wipes. There's
It's
been a
been
lot of scrappy fights.
it's been long drawn out mids where like someone caps and then they refight immediately. It's been those kind of mids, not really just like, oh, everyone died.
And that's really important when you consider it's a 3-2 game because you're starting if you win the mid, you're starting the map on opposing team's side. I guess it kind of also makes sense in that regard. If you're behind and you are losing most of the mids, it's kind of one and the same. If it's one thing to lose a point, oh no, it kind of sucks, whatever. But it's another thing if you lose a point that leads you to your last, which is not a place you want to be. Even worse if obviously you're already on your last, because then they just cap and win and take the round. So it could be even if a problem for both these teams has been the defense of their own second. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to worry about the defense of your own second if you just win the mids convincingly enough to start on the opposing team's second, or maybe even their last. So that might not even be a thing that we see need to be changed for either of the teams. Uh, or maybe one of the teams if they lose up the mids consistently still. But you don't have to worry about that as an individual if you know what you want to change for mids to either GC which global clan is the one that's won all of them? Was GCI, right? Or GCF? This is the problem with having it be 2 global clan teams.
Yeah.
But
I'm just watching. Dolphin's a very intelligent man that has a very good POV on the stream right now.
well, either way, you want to make sure that if you can change your mids up to either win them convincingly, so you can start rolling over and going to last immediately, or just winning the mids in general, for getting the first mid of the game, then you can put yourself in a pretty decent position and don't have to worry about defending your own too. So I guess it's up to either team what they really want to focus more on and try to change, and what they think the problem is for their team. Because even though it seems like they've been having some similar problems, at the end of the day, both teams are going to have different strengths and weaknesses. But we are going live into the second half, though.
Yeah. The one thing to point out is, again, these teams are both very aggressive. How they kind of debated, but now they undebated. Yeah. The double reverse debate. Yeah, but both teams are very aggressive, and you can kind of see how they both really like to stay into these fights, and it just kind of ends up at the very end who can just make 1 or 2 little plays and kind of salvage, secure the victory. But it is entertaining that we do get to see all these really scrappy, teams are just staying in for so long in these fights, way more than you'd normally see.
I feel like Nomi lagged out in the middle of his rollout in the air and wasn't able to land properly or something. I didn't see that completely, but May actually taking a lot of damage upon entering. He's not even that deep in the mid, so Rakusa trying to bomb it. I think he got body blocked. What is that? GCI are not doing so hot at the beginning of this mid, but they are able to get Nomi. Nice buy from Sin, able to go across the map and collect that kill. So despite the damage onto GCI, GCF will have the first player to fall on the field immediately. It's going to spell disaster and have them back up. Sin on the chase, immediately bombing in to make space for his team. Rakusa might be hot on his tails, trying to bomb forward as well, get some good positioning. Ali gonna fall. Rakusa is finally on his way and landing on an Animus, but not able to hit a rocket. Skelly able to get in and get some damage onto Sin, who will barely live. Dropped to 40 HP, will get an arrow.
And might try to fight off that.
They still want to fight this. Almost
Sin's getting caught out by Wolf though. Sin's gonna drop so low, they can't clean him up, and he gets a vote, but Wolf also manages to... Oh, he just barely doesn't manage. That was so close. They wanted to fight off of the damage onto Sin Karma, but they just can't get it, and I think GCI is gonna try to roll this the last off of the 2 picks.
Yeah, no scouts.
They're just in. He's gonna drop low.
Yep, on Nomi. Sin actually falling. He went in really early, unable to... I think he wanted to get in the nest, but immediately shut down by the soldiers, so... Gonna be down a soldier for this, and not really a whole lot of room.
They might try to refight. Oh, okay, they
maybe one player decided, though. Yeah, they're gonna play it safe.
Yeah, they thought about it, but they were like, oh, we're down 1, let's not risk it. But no, interesting to see no real off classes there. We do finally see Wolf coming up on the engineer. You gotta get that gun in the power position if you want to hold process last in 2021. That's what I've learned from watching all these process games this season.
I think he's just building up, having it close to the spawn door, and then he'll eventually move it. But they're only able to do it now because it was both the scouts that were dead. They had soldiers up and their demo. But this gun spot, taking a little bit of damage. It's in the range of that 5-door peak to be able to spam it down. So gonna have to be careful about your positioning to keep it alive, but also
Bruce is bombing in on the plate. He's gonna get the drop.
Well, I didn't even see that. What the heck? I was watching the wrong door. Well, either way,
he just kind of bombed in, and they weren't ready for it. I don't think they expected like the off time kind of sack. No one really had Uber. The Catface gonna die just the alley walking through a doorway. So even though May does have Uber, they kind of just lost 2. So they're gonna have to back up, and GCF do get a little bit of breathing room here, but they're still. GlobalClan Ice is still lingering in lobby. They're just waiting for their players to spawn, and I think they're gonna go. Well, actually, they're going to now.
Yep, waiting for Rakusa. Oh, Catface is on heavy. Alright, that's what they're waiting for. Waiting for Rakusa to roll out, as well as Catface to do his patented heavy strat, rolling out with the fists, coming in high.
I do appreciate he does have the go fast brass knuckles on. You gotta take a quick little jog, and he's actually arrived here. He has the Tommy Sloth. He's ready to go. I don't know if they're ready for it.
Yeah, Uber in, gun's already down, jumping over to the left side, able to catch up Ali. Heavy in play now. So many players dead. Only 2 left alive, both in spawn, both trying to come out to get any kill he can, as well as Numi, but is not quite enough. And that collapse, Heavy wasn't even necessary. They just cleaned them all up on the side of Nest, bombing in, collecting all those kills, and the 4th round will go to GCI.
Yeah, the Catface Heavy has a very high success rate, even if the Catface Heavy doesn't actually do anything. That's what I've noticed. It's the security blanket. If you need it, you need it, but sometimes it's not necessary. He's just there to, be a presence.
It'll be an aura for your team.
Yeah. Everyone gets excited over the Heavy, so they're just naturally more inclined to hit their shots.
Oh, Sin immediately falling.
Sin Karma. Yeah, fast bomb from Skelly onto Sin, and gets wall shot or air shot, 102. It looks like bomb in from the other Sin, gonna try to make space, and actually just making space for a Crusoe here. Gonna land on the pack, not too much, but GCF is kind of hurt here. Platinum gonna die, and now they're without heals, and May is alive. Where is May?
he is all the way getting
Oh, they're
chased
so
by
split
Buelp
up.
near last. Sincoma rolling out, but Buelp not able to hit enough shots. He's gonna die. What may? Barely lived, red HP, able to survive at least for now, but he's not in the mid fight where Rakuso is trying to bomb on Anobi. Will only find a little bit of damage. Sin all the way behind in the enemy team, IT. So scrappy fight, but overall victory from the side of GCF, at least for now, but they do have a heal advantage on the side of GCI. Poking in is Sin, trying to get some damage, and the other
the
Sin
trade?
behind, able to get Plaid, hiding
Oh,
in the enemy
wait.
team's last,
What?
able to collect that kill, or somewhere, he was in 2. I see their guns in 2, so he flanked around, he was behind the entire time, able to
Oh,
kill
they're
that
trying to
medic
push.
in
They
2.
actually get the force in just because they went through sewer, and it's such a tiny door, but it doesn't matter because they Ubered and the med's still dead, so... I believe that's what we call a free Mr. Slim Uber, something
Yeah,
like
it's a
that.
free Uber.
Yeah, it's a free Uber. And GCI's, they're just clearing out doors, and now they're just strolling into 2 because they have 2 numbers to work with.
Yep, not really anything GCF can really do here. I mean, if anything, you want to set up on last because you know that they could be abused maybe at least a little bit from the 2 players that are dead, but I guess GCI had players rolling out of their own. So even Ubers for now, Buelp up on Sniper, no gun quite yet, so could be an opportunity for GCI to 2-man if they spot that there is no gun alive, but probably going to build that Uber first, make sure they have a little extra insurance in case any shenanigans happen. Buelp setting up at his left spawn door, watching 5, as well as Skelly making sure that lobby is covered the best they can. 1 and 2 not covered too tight, but got the team up in nest, and as I say, they go ahead and leave it because they have the Uber ready to go. So with both teams, Uber's in play, Animus is in lobby. Okay, he's able to snake his way out, just barely, taking a lot of damage for it though, but probably GCI's move to go ahead and go for 1-man or 2-man here.
Yeah, they've built the Buelp Sniper. I don't know if they've spotted it yet. Buelp's kind of just... What is he?
He's at his left shutter, and immediately
there
getting
you
cast peeking 5.
Yep. So they do manage to get a sniper pick, so there's the sack. It's over. You didn't even really get into last that well.
Skelly's
So
in.
yeah, it doesn't also doesn't get anything. There's been a lot of 1-mans this game. I've noticed not as many 2-mans as I'd expect.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of normal, I think, for 2, but on last you'd expect maybe a couple
Yeah.
2-mans, especially because this is the one where there's no gun. I think that's the big reason why 2-mans don't happen per se, is the gun is like stopping you from...
Yeah, you have to shoot the gun first.
Yeah, but now there's no gun, so there's room. Animus is really liking being in lobby. He surfs into the corner, not the door. He's gonna fall. Well, falling as well on Sniper. No mobility
no
there.
scouts. So no hit scan here. Cafe's gonna drop very low. They're actually gonna clean up for Crusoe and Cafe. Sin's in with the pickaxe or the spoon. I didn't see, but he's actually gonna fall. So everyone died except for what happened? Everyone died.
The accidental 5-man. I don't think that was intended, but may
George
never.
5-man.
Yeah, they didn't want to commit. I don't think, and then they just accidentally dropped too many players. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be a pretty successful hold from the side of GCF, recognizing the execution of GCI is not what it needed to be, but there's still some room for GCI to at least poke around. It's even Ubers. Skelly's not quite there, so they do have a 1 player out to try to poke around with, and immediately they're barreling through into grass, may taking a lot of damage, bombing from the soldiers instead, immediately getting shot out of the air though.
Skelly gonna live? He lived. Skelly's behind, so now I have a big problem to deal with. The red Uber does get popped, or the blue Uber does get popped, excuse me. Once Scout's in the skybox, doesn't get saved by a boat, but now Skelly's behind, going in, gonna get a kill, and he's in the air. Oh, doesn't even get airshot. He lives. Skelly's making miracles right now out here. He gets behind, gets kills, lives the entire time. He's just unkillable.
And Sin's living as well. He's been the target throughout this entire bomb, and yet he's just collected pack after pack and is actually able to escape with his life. So only a free mid for the side of GCF, but the plays from GCI making sure they're able to at least have something going for their own to be able to get up their scout to be able to continue to hold this, but he's not quite there yet, so Skelly bombing it, landing on Rakuso, and May collecting that kill. So, 1-for-1 trade in that regard, but we're still building 15% ad for GCF, but that's a little bit too rough to use, so I'd be kind of surprised to see anything happen here other than the continuation of a stalemate break.
Yeah, we see some poor roamer on roamer action going on, but not really that much other than that. Not gonna let them run the sack. They're just happy with, both players going to die and just come up soldier again, so they're more than happy to not off class. I think GCI is fine with, parking the bus a little bit. Not super much, only up 2 rounds, but they have match points. They have no reason to do anything very silly here. Whereas GCF do have to eventually. Time pressure is going to kick in, but it's a little too early for that.
True. I mean, there's 21 minutes left, but you don't want to shave off too much time off this clock if you're the side of GCF, considering how many stalemates have been in this match. You want to probably collect your rounds as they're, opportune for you, so take advantage of the mid-ownership here, but trying to find an opportunity to bomb. It looks like Skelly, or actually it's going to be Ali that's bombing and making space for Skelly to initiate and landing near where Rakuso has been immediately getting shot out of the air by both scouts, and it seems like Rakuso was trying to be on the move, but...
I think he bombed to see. I think maybe he could see over that wall. I wasn't sure. That might have been the play, actually. some
Oh, he's
technology.
in.
Here he comes. He's going to land on Nobi directly. Nobi's going to actually surf into choke, so he trades for a demo. Oh, almost always a good trade a soldier for demo. And they're going to try to Uber exchange here, but no medics have popped. The GCF does pop a little earlier. May get a follow. So these Ubers kind of got popped at the same time, but they're all kind of solos. They do manage to flash Sin at the very end, but Sin might be a little overextended here, and he's going to die instantly. And the other Sin is also, he gets bowed. A big bow from May
Oh,
here.
bomb from Silly though on
Oh,
May.
the
The Martyr
spoon.
Garden from Sin. Oh, the collapse from the side of GCF, also punishing the over-aggression from GCI was pretty good. GCI were so confident with the idea that their Uber was so much longer, they went so deep and got definitely hard punished
both
for
Ubers
it.
were kind of solos, but then like the GCI Uber was marginally better, but then they flashed Sin to bomb in, and then Sin also just
Oh,
died.
cat face flank, cat face flank.
Oh,
Oh, it's Caps. Okay, able to two-shot Plaid. Okay, well, immediately equalizing the situation. I just assumed it was Catface because normally he's the one that goes at his flanks, but no, Caps pulling out the big plays there, making sure that things are equalized and actually giving his team an advantage here.
Yeah, Wolf, he must have been dead when that happened because he comes up sniper for kind of the salvage play, knowing that GCI are gonna push in at some point. So they're gonna have to push in, and it's all kind of up to when they spot the sniper, what he's looking at. We'll have to see, but GCI are kind of slow playing this, which kind of works in Wolf's favor here because he's just gonna have more time to hit some sort of shot and save the frame. Catface is a little caught out here. They're trying to okay, they do manage to save him, get him both. Both scouts are so hurt. Skelly's gonna die.
Skelly too.
Yeah, Bulb's gonna back up the choke. He's actually gonna back up all the way, so GCF gonna decide, you know, they do have a sniper, so if they're gonna try to dry into second, they're probably gonna have to pop unless they go IT, which is where they're going. He read him perfectly. Big balls on May there to kind of milk that. If you see a sniper, you usually instinctively want to pop, but he just trusted that Bulb would miss the shot.
Oh, the Skelly play though.
Spawn. Yeah, he's hiding in spawn.
He's
I
waiting
like
for
this.
the opportunity. But he pokes out, but the medic's nowhere to be seen. He gets body blocked by a
trade.
soldier. He gets Sin at the very least, which is something.
Ooh,
But
Rakuso's
Rakuso
gonna
and
die,
dying
Wolf's
as well.
gonna die. So people are just dying left and right. No one's popping Ubers, so GCF are gonna get their Uber, which I guess that's what they wanted. They just wanted to delay until they get Uber. Does GCI think this is that, or are they just going anyway?
Looks like they're rolling through immediately without even trying to get near the point. Uber exchange will eventually come out, but not enough damage. May will pop first, followed by Plaid, so trying to get as much damage as possible in the exchange. Both scouts on the side of
GCF
GCF
are gonna get saved at the end. They're gonna drop Catface too. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of hurt players. Caps is kind of caught out in a little derpy scout. So GCI losing both their scouts. They have all their spam classes, so pushing second for GCF might be a little tough here, but they don't have any scouts, so no kill cleanup. This might signal just they might have to just sit here and spam as GCF takes second for basically free other than spam. Sin Karma actually gonna get bombed and dropped very low. Gonna get big bow from May, gonna save Sin Karma, and that's gonna signal the retreat here. Ubers are even, but GCF gotta be pretty happy with that. They exchanged Ubers, got second, and now we're into another mid to second stalemate.
It's always nice to be able to work yourself out of your last. They did a pretty good job at collapsing off the Uber positioning from GCI. Even though they were able to go in really, really early on, they still had to pop first off the space, as well as, you know, they didn't really get a whole lot of positioning, but trying to get some positioning in sewer now. Ali will spot that and immediately back out. So GCF know the plan for GCI, at least for now. Both scouts kind of peeking through, work the way into grass. I think Rakuso and Sin are in a position to bond if needed. More so Rakuso though, as he will bomb off the wall. Immediately shot down by both scouts, only getting a little bit of damage onto Plaid, but both will get pretty low as well. So Skelly trying to go on to Sin, drop to 1 HP, but 1 health is all you need.
Ooh,
Caps
Animus
will fall to Animus though.
Is he gonna live? He lived. Okay, big play there from Animus. Walking in, winning the Scout 1v1 versus Caps, and managing to just barely escape here. So big plays, and GCF are gonna just decide to take this Uber exchange. It's a demo solo right now. It's just a demo solo. Scout's kind of caught out, and Catface actually gonna die, get a little greedy there, gonna try to kill Whelp, and this is doing very well for GCF. May's gonna die. They're trying to get it going for kind of the salvage here, but I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, I don't think May expected Catface to break beam that far, so he couldn't chase them into IT, and that left May without scout speed. That's definitely screws up your calculation of how aggressive you can be. So the miscommunication there definitely spelled disaster for GCI's post-fight, so GCF be able to capitalize off of that, as well as take this pretty much free 2 from the 3 late deaths from the side of GCI. So 60% Uber ad for Plaid as the red team begins to build up their gun, and I think that's the only off-class they're really going for as they put themselves over by the nest, but not too much longer before the Uber is built up all the way and they begin to work their way into what can I assume to be yeah, they're definitely working their way into a lobby to try to pick a door and work their way into last.
Yeah, this gun might catch him out if they push right and the gun's on the left. It might spend spelling early into this last push. They're actually going to go to the side of the gun. They probably spawned it out. The gun is going to die, but the positioning here isn't super great. They get GCF on the high ground. They're going to bomb May, though. Big bomb up to May. May actually lives for way longer than he ever should have. He does die at the very end, but GCF expends all their resources just to kill May, and Nobi's going to die, and I think Platinum's not long for this world.
Yep, last person left alive. That was a lot of players dying in succession. I didn't see it exactly, but I have a feeling that there were some people that ate a little bit too much of the same damage, or maybe their pacing was a little bit too off, because they died really, really quickly into that. Barely even post-super, honestly, over by the enemy team's nest. There was no point play whatsoever, so it makes sense. GCI able to take a free 2 after that last hold, as well as a free mid. Yeah, they're all the way out here.
GCF yeah, don't want any part of that. Yeah, they don't want any part of that. They're just they do have Whelp on Sniper. It's kind of
always in the forwards.
Oh,
I think
that's
he's waiting for it to take a cap.
I love that.
Peek. He's waiting for it to cap.
Very big brain play. Yeah, he's waiting here because what happens is they're going to be by choke at some point, so he's going to basically get a super free shot. I don't think they're expecting this at all.
I think he's going to be the counter sack. He assumes it to be.
Oh,
no, he's going now.
Yeah, he's just going to swing
timing
out.
Though. There's no one really peeking it too aggressively. Bomb from Skelly on to May. Popped from May, landing on high, but no one's with May. They've left May behind, but able to clean up Skelly at the last second. But Bwelp is just on an adventure.
He's behind.
He is super behind.
Oh,
he is in the enemy teams, or he's in his own sewer now. But it's still even. It's still
no
even.
Idea. If Bolt whiffs this, it'll be really funny.
Sin Karma's just in. He's running at the enemy team. He's not connected to May. They're just walking forward. Uber will come out. A little bit of point time, but not quite enough. Sin jumping away to 2. Sniper still behind. I don't know how he's going to work this into a decent play running into the enemy team. IT Sin and Animus both fall. Cap's trying to run forward. Nomi will fall as well. Unable to collect the demo man kill. So one player added from the side of GCF, but is it really well behind? Will finally get cleaned up. So 2 for 2 overall. The pesky Sniper behind, unable to find a successful play. So at the end of the day, just a scrappy Uber fight, and GCI still owning control of the second point.
Yeah, Wolf was going on a little bit of a spectator kind of single-player adventure there for a while. He ended up dying at the end, but it was funny. He was walking around and he knew he had to do something, but there was just no plays to be had. Our absolute tragedy. Yeah, he's just LARPing out here as the sniper class. And we are going to settle into even Ubers and a stalemate on last with GCI. Now they are up, I believe, what is it, a 4-3 at this point? So they are up 1 round, so...
It's a 4-2.
Oh, 4-2, right. I thought GCF won that last fight because I just forgot. So it is a 4-2, so they kind of don't have that much of an incentive to push it in. So I might see an extended stalemate, or they might just be like, you know what, let's just win.
I'm honestly, I'm worried about this Heavy. This Heavy has no mobility to actually cover doors, so like, wherever he decides to sit, like if he sits centralized, okay, Rakuso dies, so that's good for them, for the side of GCF holding.
I think he's gonna push out on Heavy. I think that's the play.
Oh, they get Sin Karma as well, so no stickies. So that's a pretty good boon for them to be able to try to poke around.
Well, running back this wall at the sandwich out. So GCF are going to push out here because Sin Karma's dead, but their respawns aren't as good as you expect. So they have to kind of get in soon before Sin Karma arrives, and they do manage to do that, but they're losing a lot of health for it.
Yeah, Plaid dropped very low, 60 HP. Still in this, though. They want to fight this Sin. Very weak as well. Arrows trying to fly, but not...
No one's dying.
They're not
incredible,
connecting.
Actually.
Yeah, the shots and arrows are both not connecting, so it's crazy. But Nomi will eventually get popped on. Sin Karma will fall, so no red dome in. Solo on the scout on the enemy team. Spire able to get some damage and able to clean up Ali and Nomi as well. Inside 2, just barely falling as well, so 3
Skelly's behind for maybe a miracle kind of play. He's in. Oh, he gets 1 rocket, 2 rocket. He actually kills Catface by
the rocket in
Mr. President. Get down,
Mr. President. Yeah, Animus and Plaid, last one's left alive, trying to stuff the door that they think the enemy team's coming through, but immediately Sin hot on their tails, bombing through. Plaid surfing away, but only into the enemy scout.
Trying to juke Caps. He's actually almost manages to juke Caps. The respawns are coming in, but this is such a scrappy fight. Now there's no off classes.
Yep, not a whole lot of time. It's once again a 2 to last roll. GCI in a pretty good position, 2 left alive, both explosive classes from the side of GCF. Rakuso up in Nest, trying to eat an arrow for May to be able to continue to fight this. And this is pretty much going to be all she wrote. Too many players dropping for the side of GCF. And GCI will take this match to the end of the day, 5-2.
Now, definitely I don't know if I'm going to say closer than the score indicated, but it was very back and forth in terms of how the team fights are going. But I think GCI in the end played a little bit of a cleaner game, so they're able, in the end, to secure the dub. And I don't know, I think they're still 4th seed, so the next time we'll see them, next time we see them, we'll be in playoffs.
I think maybe, I'm not sure. I didn't actually like do all the probabilities for this match because it's not only on this match. I think there's like some universe where like if Sojourner beat Ford with like a messy Ford roster or something, I can only imagine that GCI could snipe third, but I'm not really sure what number they would need to achieve. I don't know if losing 2 rounds here would like help hurt that, but that would also need a Sojourner forward upset as well. So I don't know, but I do think I'm not completely sure about this, but I'm slightly more confident that the rounds that GCF got here is enough to make sure they get 7th no matter what happens in other matches.
Okay.
So I think, for all intents and purposes, these guys are probably staying at their seats. GCA is probably most likely 4th, and GCF's probably most likely all the way up to 7th.
Yeah, looking at the kind of scoreboard here at the very end, I do notice that May went 2 and 3. So shout out to May; they're almost having an even KD on Medic.
The heck? It's a pretty nice stat line for a Medic to have. I know it's only 1/2, but still.
Process is one of the better Medic maps in terms of the impact you can have, so I guess it's not super surprising. We do it for Crusoe. I see for Crusoe here. Are we gonna get the final 2 members of the GlobalClan roster in here? Recruso and maybe Catface. Want to see.
Yep. So
we do. We got all 6.
Oh well, there we go. I think it makes sense. All right, welcome guys. Hello, Catface and Recruso. Congratulations on your win. How you feeling after closing out the your season? You know, against your sister team and making sure you got your seed in lock for playoffs.
No, I'm feeling pretty good. It's my first full season of Invite, so I'm pretty hyped about that.
Yeah,
Is it?
First
Yeah,
season for me
I've
too.
never completed the first
Shut up. Shut up, Recruso.
Yeah, I brought Rakusa out of the dumpster, so you know.
Oh, I see.
I've seen Recruso make a lot of big plays. Catface too. I do really enjoy the heavy to last plays. It seems to be almost, I'm not going to say your calling card, but you do it at least once a game, I think. The heavy to last.
Absolutely. Off classes are the future. Heavy mains, NG mains, it's your time in the future.
Yeah,
So
that
you
process
guys-
entry too. I'll go Jared.
You guys, I would probably say you're, out of all your teammates, you're probably the 2 biggest playmakers of the team overall, I'd say. Not just in the matches we've seen in the past couple days before this season. Do you guys kind of think the way you guys play operates on seeing opportunities to go make the plays and just taking the opportunities? Or do you kind of force them to happen, like more like cooperate, make sure you point out a weakness and tick away at it until you get something good going for your team?
Me personally, I don't really operate under the playmaker playstyle unless I see opportunities. Rakusa is more of the see an opportunity, get in, get forces, or get picks kind of player. But me, I'm just kind of pressuring, and if Rakusa gets space and they're not looking at me, I run in. But this is more of his specialty, so maybe he should talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. Sometimes I just feed.
You see person, you bomb. That's how it goes.
Yeah, our
Yeah,
plan's
that's
like,
how it
alright,
works.
Rakusa's gonna sack, and then I'm like, I'm pressuring, oh, I dropped. That's kind of how it goes.
It's sometimes the simplest of plans are the ones that work the best, so I understand. Can you talk a little bit about adapting to the in between the halves? Because I know the first half was a little rocky. They got some rounds and put some pressure on, but during the second half, things were slightly more in your favor. Can you talk about what you recognize the problems were in the halftime and what you kind of changed to make sure the second half went a little bit more smoother so you could clean things up?
I kind of think we were doing a little bit of feeding and transitions, people
Yeah, for
dying
sure.
at random times. And at the half, we kind of talked about it. We kind of whipped everybody. And in the second half, I kind of had to lead the charge a little bit more. I didn't have as much energy in the first half, and I think my team really relies on me to calm a lot. So it's really on my shoulders to get everybody like in the mood to actually play the game. So the second half, I kind of picked up the energy. Everybody got more into the game. We sharpened everything up a little bit, and we kept May from dying, the most important thing. His deaths in the second half were super low, if I remember.
Yeah, I think he got like 3. He went 2 and 3 for his
Yeah.
KD.
Yeah, when we're playing bad, we're not protecting May, but when we're playing good, May's not dying.
Makes sense. You just get the kills faster than they can get onto your medic, so
If you
able
guys
to
had
protect
to,
them that way.
if you guys had to give MVPs to someone other than yourself, who would you give MVPs to for your team? You could say overall, or for the whole season, or this match, or for the whole season.
Me personally, I think May for this match, and probably most of the season. I'd also give Sin MVP over the entire season, May for this match.
Which Sin?
Sin, Soldier Sin.
How do
excuse
you
me.
deal with that, by the way? Because you have 2 Sins.
I call Demo Sin Sin Karma, and I call Soldier Sin Sin.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So every time you call Sin Karma, Sin initially thinks it's about him, and like, that
Yeah.
has to settle down.
I usually just say demo.
Like you're playing at a pug with someone
Yeah.
you don't know.
I'm like, yo, demo, shoot this.
Hey,
That's
if it
pretty
works,
good,
it
actually.
works. All right, so you've locked your seed for playoffs. Fourth seed, you're going to be playing against Froyo. Obviously, you're not going to leak any strats if you have any at this point. But can you talk a little bit about your expectations going into that match and what your initial thoughts on it are for playoffs?
Well, we had faced GlobalClan Fire on that map before, so we kind of knew how they played the map, but we've played a lot of Process this season, so they had a lot of material to review. So we had to go into the match really thinking about how we know we beat them last time, but we can't play the same formula as we did last time. So we made sure we had a couple new things up our sleeve. Make sure to also learn how they play, kind of counter that. They have some really good players on their team that we kind of had to keep in check, or else it would have been complete chaos. But for playoffs, I think a lot of us have kind of been a little lazy this season and like reviewing and map reviewing stuff. So we've been picking that up a lot recently. We've been doing a lot more talking to each other rather than not a lot of talking and discussing. So we're all kind of, just trying to get in that playoffs grind mode right now, and I think we're kind of really getting into it. I'm excited to see how we do in playoffs.
Yeah,
Definitely makes sense.
yeah.
Time to turn up of all times.
I think out of
playoffs.
all the teams, you guys are probably the most kind of wild card team. So yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys can do in playoffs because I think you guys definitely have potential to make some noise.
Definitely showed in the regular season already. You can upset a pretty talented team, so I'm excited to see if it's going to happen again.
Of course.
Agreed.
I think
All
that's
right,
it for
well-
my questions at least.
Yep, I think that's pretty much wraps up the questions. Got any last minute shout outs before we close up the stream, starting with Catface?
Shout out to my team. May, I love you, bro. You're the greatest medic I've ever played with. Sin, you're probably the greatest teammate I've ever played with. Sin Soldier Sin. So dedicated to learning and improving. Sin Karma, even though he's a little bit of a tilter, I still love the guy to death. So personable. Still learning, but we're getting him there. I love him. Caps, a little angry sometimes, doesn't protect our medic sometimes, but amazing DMer, drops 40 kills a game. Couldn't win without him, to be honest. And Rakusa, of course, making salvages all the time. Super clutch player. All my teammates, I love them.
Yeah,
Anything
shout
from
out
your
my
Kusa?
team. Shout out Shemu. That's it.
Space Ghost?
I'll give the shout out to Skis, shout out production, all that stuff.
Always the random shout out to Skis, huh?
It's not random if it's every time.
I guess that's true. That's true.
Also, may I interject? Shout out to GlobalClan for sponsoring us. Love
Oh,
my
yeah.
Oxy. That guy's epic.
True. All right, definitely shout out to Dolphin on the cam, making sure that the stream's able to happen, as well as all the viewers for hanging out and watching with us. This was the last casted match of the regular season, so you definitely want to hang tight to wait and see when the playoff matches are going to get scheduled. Either it's probably like next week or the week after. I'm not exactly sure. I probably should have double checked that, but you'll be able to figure out if you want to make sure you know for yourself. You can maybe check the website, maybe check the YouTube, or you can maybe just catch the Highlander cast that's happening every Monday to get a little bit of an update on what the rest of that week is going to look like. That's always a decent strat. But for tonight, that's going to be it for us. I've been Jarrett, casting with Space Ghost with Dolphin on production. Thank you and good night.
Good night.